You stand at the edge of something holy. Though the world around you looks the same, time has not paused for everyone. But for you, everything feels still. Heaven leans close. The air is heavy with unseen movement. You sense it deep within. That quiet voice whispering, "This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention." You've been through too much to mistake this silence for emptiness. The delay, the confusion, the weariness that has tried to bury your fire, none of it was random. Every unanswered prayer, every door that refused to open, has brought you to this divine pause. God is preparing to restore you. But first, He must awaken you. You were never created to blend into the noise. You were not designed to live half awake, scrolling through life waiting for miracles that never come. You are chosen to become the miracle, an instrument through which heaven moves. That's why life has felt so heavy lately. When God marks someone for restoration, He also allows the shaking that reveals what cannot stay. The world may see your exhaustion, but heaven sees your endurance. The enemy sees your weariness, but God sees your readiness. And right now, this message is the meeting point between your despair and His design. You have reached the threshold where losing no longer means defeat, it means transformation. Listen carefully. The spiritual war around you is not about destruction, it's about revelation. You are standing in the tension between what was lost and what is being restored. The enemy wants you to give up before the rebuilding begins. That's why the attacks have felt personal. That's why the people closest to you seemed to vanish when you needed them most. But heaven has not abandoned you. Heaven has been observing you. The Word of God declares in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm, and the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army, which I sent among you." Do you feel the weight of that promise? God does not just mend what was broken, He restores the years. Every tear, every night you thought was wasted, every seed sown in pain, He will redeem it all. What was stolen will be returned in ways that will make the enemy regret ever touching you. The very places that were barren will become proof of His mercy. You might think this message found you by accident, but no, heaven arranged it. Every second of your pain, every moment you almost quit, was part of the refining. God has been watching your fight, not to judge you, but to prepare you for the next chapter of glory. He does not restore comfort first, He restores calling. He does not rebuild possessions, He rebuilds purpose. And when He restores, He never gives back what you lost the same way. He multiplies, He upgrades, He transforms the fragments into foundations. You are not returning to what was, you are rising into what must be. That's why this stillness is sacred. It is not the end, it's the setup. Heaven's silence is never absence, it's incubation. Something is forming inside you, something that hell cannot imitate or interrupt. You are being refined into a vessel that will carry power the world has not yet seen through you. Do not rush this moment. Do not despise this pause. The eagles do not fly every second, they wait for the right wind. The storm that frightened you is the very wind that will lift you. Restoration requires readiness, and readiness begins with surrender. You are not being punished, you are being purified. The shaking is not to destroy you, but to detach you from everything that cannot follow you into the next level. The relationships that ended, the dreams that collapsed, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, all were divine strategies. God removes what hides his reflection in you. Right now, heaven is whispering, "Be still. Let me rebuild you. For you are not forgotten, you are being formed. You are not disqualified, you are being redefined. You are not losing, you are being positioned." So take this moment seriously. This is the hour to rise again, to reclaim your focus, to step out of survival and into surrender. You may have lost a fight, but you have not lost your favor. You may have fallen, but the fall was only a shortcut to revelation. Now, heaven watches. Angels stand ready. The next word you speak, the next choice you make, will echo beyond this moment. Will you be ready when restoration arrives? If this message speaks to your spirit, take it as a sign that your season of restoration begins now. Like, share, and subscribe so this word reaches every other warrior who forgot they were chosen. And type below 777 as a prophetic act, declaring, "I am ready for restoration." The battle no one sees is the one that shapes you the most. You fought enemies in the open circumstances, disappointments, betrayals, but the fiercest war has always been the one inside your own mind. It is not the visible wounds that exhaust you, it's the invisible ones. The thoughts that whisper, "You failed. You're not enough. You'll never recover." Those are the daggers that cut deepest. You have learned how to smile in public and fall apart in silence. You've encouraged others while secretly wondering if God even remembers your name. You've seen seasons where your faith was fire, and others where it was only ash. But even in the moments you doubted, heaven never turned away. You were seen, understood, and loved through it all. The silent war within you is not proof of weakness, it is proof of calling. The greater the destiny, the louder the opposition, the closer you get to breakthrough, the heavier the resistance. That's why lately your thoughts have felt like battlegrounds and your peace like a prize constantly stolen. The enemy knows he can't destroy your promise, so he tries to dismantle your confidence. He can't touch what God decreed, but he can make you question it. You must learn to recognize the whispers that are not yours. Every lie that tells you, "You're too late. You're too broken. You've missed your chance," comes from the one who fears your awakening. Because the moment you remember who you are in God, the fight begins to shift. Scripture says in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind." That is the truth that cuts through every deception. The voice of fear is not divine, it's a counterfeit. The anxiety that floods you when you start to rise is not revelation, it's resistance. The confusion that clouds your thoughts when you try to pray is not proof of distance, it's proof that darkness fears your clarity. You were designed to walk in authority, not torment. The sound mind God promised you is not the absence of battle, it's the ability to stay anchored while the battle rages. You may tremble, but your spirit stands firm. You may question, but your purpose remains unshaken. There is a sacred strength being forged in this inner fight. Each time you choose faith over fear, you shift the atmosphere. Each time you silence the voice of doubt, heaven records another victory. You are not merely surviving, you are learning how to reign over chaos. When your emotions spiral, remember, your feelings are not your foundation. Truth is, when your thoughts run wild, return to what God has already spoken. The war within only ends when you align with His word over your own reasoning. And sometimes, alignment means standing still in the storm and saying, "Even now, I trust you." You may not see progress, but God sees persistence. Every time you resisted the urge to give up, you built unseen muscle. Every time you forgave without apology, heaven took note. Every time you prayed while breaking, your spirit shouted louder than your pain. These are victories the world cannot measure. There will come a day when the thoughts that once controlled you will lose their grip. You'll look back at the nights you cried and realize they were altars of transformation. The struggle within is not meant to destroy your faith. It is the furnace where faith becomes unshakable. Do not curse your process. Do not despise your tears. They are watering the ground of your next season. God is not waiting for you to be fearless. He is waiting for you to be faithful in fear. This fight within you will not end in defeat. The very areas where you feel most broken are the ones God will use to demonstrate His power. The mind that once battled doubt will carry revelation. The heart that once ached will overflow with compassion. The hands that once trembled will heal others. The war within you is not a sign that you're losing. It's a sign that you are still alive, still chosen, still standing where many would have fallen. Heaven is not asking you to win by might, but to trust through the fire. The victory has already been written. You are simply walking it out. The storm inside you is not a curse, it's a classroom. Every wave teaches you how to breathe in chaos, how to listen beyond the noise, and how to find God's whisper when everything else is shouting. You are learning that peace is not found when battles end, but when you remember who stands beside you. The fight within you only exposes how much power heaven has trusted you to carry. Soon, what tormented you will testify for you. The same mind that waged war will become your greatest weapon. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through into divine stability and sacred clarity. Pain has always been your teacher, even when you didn't understand its lessons. Every wound you carry tells a story heaven refused to erase. They are not signs of weakness, they are evidence of survival. You have bled in silence, forgiven without closure, and continued to walk even when your heart felt too heavy to lift. Yet somehow, through all of it, your light never went out. You wonder why life had to hurt this much, why the people you trusted became the source of your breaking, why prayers seemed to echo back unanswered. But what you didn't see then was that your pain was shaping your purpose. Heaven was chiseling your spirit to fit a destiny greater than your comfort zone. The world may have judged you by your scars, but God sees something far deeper. He sees glory beneath the bruises. Every tear you shed watered the roots of your becoming. The pain that almost ended you is now the very soil from which your power will grow. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 30, verse 17, "For I will restore health to you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says the Lord, because they called you an outcast, saying, 'This is Zion, no one seeks her.'" You see, God doesn't just patch up the surface, He heals the story. He goes back into the very moments that scarred you and rewrites them with mercy. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being reserved. You thought your suffering meant separation, but it was preparation. He has been turning every loss into language, your pain into prophecy. There are wounds that no one applauded you for carrying, yet you carried them anyway. There were nights you didn't cry because you were strong, you cried because strength hurt. Heaven counted every tear. Angels stood guard when you didn't even know you were under attack. You thought you were just surviving, but you were being trained in the art of divine endurance. The devil underestimated you. He believed the pain would silence you. Instead, it made you dangerous. Because a healed soul is a weapon hell cannot counterfeit. You now carry a compassion that pierces darkness and a peace that confuses the enemy. You walk differently now, not because you've never been broken, but because you know who rebuilt you. Every scar you bear now radiates testimony. Every wound you survived now speaks of resurrection. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by what refused to die in you. The pain that once humiliated you will become your greatest sermon. When others see your scars, they will see God's fingerprints. And that is why you cannot give up in this stage of healing. There is still glory waiting to be revealed through you. God is not finished yet. The same hands that allowed the breaking are now anointing the mending. The same God who watched you fall is now commanding you to rise. You are not behind. You are being rebuilt in divine timing. One day soon, you will thank God for not rescuing you too early. You will realize that if He had spared you from the pain, you would have missed the strength it produced. The suffering did not destroy you. It delivered you into deeper dependence. It made you a carrier of comfort for others who are still bleeding silently. You are becoming the person you once needed. You are stepping into the version of yourself that hell tried to bury. When you speak now, heaven echoes, because every word comes from a place of authenticity purchased through tears. Your healing is not the absence of pain, it's the transformation of it. What once bled will now bless. What once haunted you will now heal others. God has taken what the enemy meant for harm and turned it into holy fire within you. So now, pause and let your heart catch this truth. You are not just a survivor, you are a vessel of restoration. The scars remain not as reminders of pain, but as proof of promise. Type below, I rise healed. Write it as a declaration that the pain no longer defines you, but refines you. When you declare it, heaven witnesses your agreement with restoration, and what once wounded you will begin to work for you. When you type, I rise healed, you are not just commenting words, you are announcing resurrection. You're declaring that your identity is no longer tied to your wounds, but to the one who healed them in secret. I rise healed means the battle within no longer owns you. It's your spiritual signature, marking the moment heaven records your shift from survival to strength, from pain to power, from victimhood to divine victory. Each time you declare, I rise healed, darkness loses another hold. It's not a phrase, it's prophecy. It tells the universe that restoration has begun, and nothing, no wound, no past, no fear can silence your rise. There comes a moment when your strength collapses under the weight of expectation, when the armor you've worn for too long begins to crack, and all your rehearsed bravery starts to tremble. You reach the edge of yourself. The point where every effort feels meaningless and every prayer sounds like an echo, returning unanswered. You are not faithless, you are exhausted. You've done everything you knew to do, believed, waited, persevered, hoped, and still, it feels as if heaven remains silent. But this is not abandonment, this is invitation. God does not always meet you in triumph. Sometimes He meets you in the ruins, when you are too tired to pretend anymore. It is in your breaking that divine strength begins to breathe again, when your own resolve runs dry. Heaven pours out fresh grace. The collapse of your strength is not the end of your faith, it is the birthplace of reliance. You are learning that it is not your performance that moves God's heart, it is your surrender. The Apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Those words dismantle the illusion that you must hold yourself together to be loved by God. His power is not displayed through perfection but through dependence. When you break, he builds. When you fall, he finds you. When you can't take another step, he carries you. Every time you tried to hold your world together, he watched not in judgment, but in patience, waiting for you to finally hand him the pieces. Because what you call failure, he calls foundation. The moment you stop performing and start surrendering is the moment restoration begins. You are not being punished for being weak. You are being positioned for revelation. God allows the collapse to expose the limits of human strength so you can discover the boundlessness of his. It's not that you were too weak to continue, it's that you were too strong to depend. There is a strange beauty in surrender. It is not defeat, it is divine cooperation. When you let go of your own grip, God's hands take over. The more you release, the more he restores. You cannot receive with clenched fists. You cannot rise while still holding the debris of yesterday. Sometimes, you must stop trying to rebuild what God has already decided to replace. The doors that closed were never yours to force open again. The people who left were not carrying your destiny. The opportunities that slipped away were never meant to anchor your worth. Every loss has a language, and heaven knows how to translate it into purpose. You are being taught that surrender is strength disguised as stillness. When you stop fighting against the process, peace begins to fill the gaps left by struggle. You will see that what broke you did not end you. It simply emptied you, so God could fill you with himself. It is okay to admit you are tired. It is holy to rest. The world glorifies hustle, but heaven honors humility. When you whisper, "I can't do this alone," all of heaven moves in your direction. The collapse of your strength is not a failure of faith, it's a doorway into divine partnership. You may not understand this season yet, but one day you will look back and realize it was mercy all along. The delays protected you. The exhaustion humbled you. The breaking made room for grace to live where pride once stood. You are learning that being strong is not about never falling, it's about never refusing his hand when you do. And perhaps this is what God has been waiting for, not your perfect obedience, but your honest dependence. He wanted your heart, not your performance, your surrender, not your strategy. He wanted to show you that even when your grip fails, his never does. You do not need to keep proving that you are enough. You are not being tested to fail, you are being refined to trust. Every collapse is a holy moment, because when you reach your end, you touch his beginning. So, let the breaking happen. Let the tears fall. Let your defenses crumble. For in that space of emptiness, heaven finds room to breathe life again. Strength will return, not the kind you built, but the kind he gives. It will be quiet, unshakable, and entirely divine. And when you rise again, it won't be because you forced yourself to stand. It will be because grace lifted you higher than strength ever could. When you finally release control, peace enters like breath after drowning. You realize that surrender was never loss, it was alignment. What you thought was breaking was God rebuilding you from the inside out. stone by stone, truth by truth. Your surrender becomes sacred ground where heaven plants new strength. From the ashes of exhaustion, divine energy rises. No longer striving, you are sustained. No longer pretending, you are transformed. Grace does what effort never could. It restores you completely. There are nights when the darkness doesn't speak. It only presses. You lie awake and wonder if heaven still remembers your name. The silence can feel heavier than any storm, because storms at least make noise, but silence makes you question everything. Yet even in this quiet, God is speaking, not in thunder, but in whisper, not in lightning, but in the warmth that still flickers somewhere inside you. The same breath that created stars is now hovering over your heart, ready to remind you that you have never been forgotten. You see, when you are in your darkest moments, that is when God speaks the softest. His voice doesn't compete with noise, it waits for your stillness. And in the stillness, He calls your name again, not with anger, but with tenderness. You've walked through valleys that others would not have survived, but you're still here. That alone is proof that grace never left your side. According to what is revealed in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. You may not feel Him, but He feels every heartbeat of yours. You may not hear Him, but He listens to every unspoken word. Even your sighs become prayers in heaven's language. God has been collecting every tear you've shed, not one has been wasted. Sometimes, the reason God allows you to walk through the valley is so that when you find your voice again, it carries power. You begin to speak not from theory but from truth born out of pain. The very thing that almost destroyed you becomes the testimony that delivers others. That's what this message is about. It's not just words, it's a bridge. Every story, every revelation, every whisper I share here is meant to reach those who feel too lost to pray, too tired to hope. Maybe that's you tonight. Maybe this is the only light that found its way into your darkness. And if so, then this moment is holy. You see, this space we've built together, it's more than a channel. It's a quiet room where shattered hearts gather and remember that God still restores. Every message is a spark, a small flame trying to reach the next soul still sitting in the dark. And together, we become a constellation of hope, each light, no matter how small, helping another see again. If this voice has ever lifted you, if these words have ever reminded you that you are not alone, then I ask one thing, not from obligation, but from the same Spirit that gives freely. Touch the flame like this message if it spoke to your heart. When you do, it's as if you're breathing oxygen into a shared fire that lights someone else's night. Release the spark, share it forward so it can travel to the ones scrolling in silence, waiting for a reason to keep living. Stay by the fire, subscribe if you wish to keep walking with this tribe of light, where every word is a candle against the dark. And if your heart feels led, donate as if pouring oil into a lamp that has lit your path. Your gift becomes the steady glow that keeps burning, not for me, but for the next soul still searching for warmth. Donating is not a duty, it's participation in grace. You are not buying blessings, you are building bridges. Every small act of generosity becomes a ripple that touches lives you may never meet, but heaven will reward. I've seen how these messages reach people in hospital rooms, in empty apartments, in quiet cars after heartbreak, Sometimes the difference between despair and hope is a single word that arrives at the right time. And if God has ever used this space to reach you, then you already understand how powerful that connection is. So, if you ever choose to give, do it with peace, not pressure. Let it come from gratitude, not guilt. Whether it's a prayer, a share, or a gift, it all matters equally in heaven's eyes. Because this mission isn't built on numbers, it's built on faith. It's carried by people like you, people who believe that even in the noise of this world, there's still a sacred place where hope can whisper again. Your generosity, whether through words, prayers, or donations, keeps this fire alive. It fuels the light so that tomorrow, another weary soul will stumble upon a message that says, "You're still chosen. You're still loved. You can still rise." And maybe one day, they too will give back, keeping the circle of light unbroken. So, as you listen now, breathe deeply. You are part of something holy. Every like, every share, every prayer, every gift is another heartbeat in this divine rhythm of restoration. We are all lamps lit by the same fire, all carrying a piece of the same message: God restores. And He is not finished yet, not with you, not with me, not with this world. There is a sacred pattern in the way heaven rebuilds you. God never restores by returning things to how they were. He restores by transforming what was once broken into something stronger, purer, unrecognizable in glory. The pieces of your old life are not being reassembled, they are being reborn. You might not see it yet, but every delay, every detour, and every disappointment has been construction, holy groundwork for the blueprint of your new becoming. Heaven has not been silent, it's been strategic. The potter has had his hands on you the entire time, shaping you in the quiet places, molding you where no one could see. And though you feel hidden, this hiddenness is not punishment, it's protection. God is refining your motives, strengthening your endurance, and teaching you the rhythm of His voice. Restoration doesn't happen overnight because readiness doesn't happen without pressure. You are being prepared to carry more than before. Heaven is saying, don't mistake delay for denial. Some doors stayed closed because they were beneath your calling. Some people walked away because they could not handle your next season. God had to empty your hands so He could fill them again. What felt like loss was divine exchange, as was spoken in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay." This is heaven's reminder. Your restoration is not late, it's timed. Every prophecy, every promise, every dream that seemed forgotten is still breathing in the unseen. God doesn't miss appointments. He makes them happen when you are most ready to receive. Your waiting season is your training ground. The silence that frustrates you is actually teaching you how to hear His whisper. The stillness that makes you restless is building your patience for divine timing. You think you're standing still, but heaven sees you moving slowly, steadily, faithfully toward purpose. You have been asking, when will it happen? But heaven has been asking, will you trust me while it forms? Because readiness is not proven by your speed, it's proven by your surrender. When you can stand still and still believe, you've already won half the battle. In the waiting, worship. In the silence, listen. In the frustration, stay faithful. You are not waiting for something, you are waiting with someone. And when God finally opens the door, you will understand why every previous one had to stay shut. The restoration that's coming will not resemble what you lost. It will exceed it in every dimension. The same God who allowed the breaking is the God preparing the rebuilding, and He never rebuilds without multiplying. You will recognize His fingerprints in the timing, the alignment, the peace that comes after the waiting. Do not despise this season, what you call delay. Heaven calls development, what feels like silence. God calls setup. You are standing in the in-between, where your past no longer defines you. But your future has not yet unfolded, and that space is holy, because that's where you are learning to become new. Soon, everything will make sense. The pieces will connect. The doors will open. The right voices will appear. The right opportunities will call your name. You will step forward and realize it was all preparation for a moment that will feel both sudden and sacred. And when it happens, it won't feel like effort. It will feel like alignment. The weight of waiting will dissolve into the wonder of fulfillment. The tears you cried will become the water that nourished your harvest. You will understand that heaven never forgot. It was simply waiting for you to be ready. So, right now, if this word finds you in your waiting season, don't let despair speak louder than destiny. The vision is not dead, it's maturing. You are not behind, you are being built. If your heart receives this, right below 888. That number symbolizes new beginnings, a prophetic declaration that you are stepping into a restored cycle where everything lost returns multiplied. When you type it, you are declaring, "My delay is my divine setup." When you comment 888, you are not just typing numbers, you are marking your spiritual reset. It is a silent agreement with heaven that you are ready to step out of the waiting room and into fulfillment without fear or hesitation. The number 888 represents new beginnings, divine renewal, and overflowing grace. By writing it, you declare that your old season has ended and the next one begins not by your effort, but by God's orchestration. It is a symbol of restoration multiplied. Each time you type 888, see it as unlocking a door in the unseen. You're saying, "I trust the timing, I release control, and I receive what's coming." Heaven sees it as faith in motion, the moment destiny takes shape in your obedience. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when the fire of testing turns inward. This is not the enemy's fire, it is God's, a refining flame, searching the deepest corners of your soul, asking not what you can do for Him, but what you are willing to release. Restoration is beautiful, but it costs something sacred. It asks for purification, not from sin alone, but from self, from your attachment to what once defined you, from the opinions that shaped your worth, from the dreams you thought you needed, but that no longer serve your divine purpose. You can't enter a new realm carrying the ashes of the old. When God prepares to entrust you with greater influence, He must first empty you of the noise that could corrupt it. That's why this season feels quiet, stripped, uncomfortable. He is not rejecting you, He is reordering you. The Word of God declares in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, "He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and refine them like gold and silver, that they may offer to the Lord an offering in righteousness." This is what heaven is doing within you now. He is sitting close, watching carefully, ensuring that the fire is hot enough to purify, but never to destroy. A silversmith never leaves the flame unattended. He knows the exact moment when the reflection becomes clear enough to reveal his image. That is how God knows you are ready, when he can see himself in your heart. Purification is not punishment. It is love's most precise work. You prayed for restoration, but restoration without refinement would destroy you. God cannot place a fresh anointing on an unyielded vessel. He must strip away the pride that grew from past victories and the shame that clung from old defeats. In this process, he removes distractions disguised as blessings. People you once leaned on may drift away. Doors that looked promising may close without reason. Opportunities may fade before your eyes. But every subtraction is a setup for sacred addition. God never takes without preparing to return multiplied grace. The hardest part is not losing what you love. It's learning to bless what leaves. Yet, this is where holiness begins, in the space between letting go and receiving again. You must trust that God knows which weights you can't afford to carry into the next chapter. And as you release, something begins to shift within. Your prayers grow quieter but more powerful. Your worship stops being performance and becomes surrender. You stop negotiating with destiny and start aligning with it. What once felt like emptiness becomes an altar where fire falls freely. Soon, you'll realize that this purification has not reduced you, it has revealed you. You will stand lighter, freer, clearer. Your discernment will sharpen. Your peace will deepen. Your heart will beat in rhythm with heaven's timing again. The wilderness is never about deprivation, it's about distinction. You are being separated from what was common so you can carry what is holy. This is why some people cannot follow you now. They were sent only for a season, not for your destiny. When the process feels unbearable, remember, this gold never complains while it's being refined, it only shines brighter afterward. The pressure that once made you tremble will soon make you radiant. The same fire that burned your pride will polish your purpose. This is the unseen work that few applaud but heaven celebrates. The refining flame that exposes, humbles, and heals. And when the work is done, when the impurities have fallen away, you will stand as a vessel of glory, ready not just to be restored, but to carry restoration to others. Your readiness is not measured by perfection, but by purity. And purity is not flawlessness, it is surrender. To be refined is to say, God, take what is not you and make me whole again. That prayer alone invites heaven to move through you. So do not resist this process. Let the fire do its holy work. For when it ends, your heart will no longer just beat, it will blaze. And everything about you will declare, I am ready. I am refined. And I am restored. When you emerge from the refining, the world won't recognize you. The same places that once drained you will no longer have power over you. You will walk through familiar storms and realize they can no longer touch the version God rebuilt. Purity becomes your new armor. Humility, your hidden crown. You will move quietly, but carry weight. Heaven will trust you with influence because your heart no longer craves attention, it craves obedience. This is what readiness feels like, peace that no flame can steal. Every refined soul becomes a torch for others. You'll guide those still trembling in the fire, reminding them that God never burns to destroy, He burns to reveal. And, through your glow, many will remember that grace still chooses them too. Waiting is not easy for the human heart. You crave movement, confirmation, progress, anything that proves God is still working. Yet there comes a time when He teaches you the hardest lesson of faith, to remain still while everything within you longs to run ahead. The delay is not a denial. It is an invitation into trust. Every promise God gives must survive the test of time. Between revelation and fulfillment lies the wilderness of waiting, a place where faith is stripped of feelings and strengthened by endurance. This is the test of delay. It is not about patience alone, it is about perspective. Will you see the silence as abandonment or as alignment? According to the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 26. It is good that one should hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Those words do not glorify passivity, they glorify faith that breathes even in stillness. Waiting quietly is not about doing nothing. It is about trusting that heaven is doing everything. When God seems silent, He is often speaking most clearly, just not in the language of urgency, but in the language of preparation. You must understand God's timing is not measured by clocks or calendars. It is measured by readiness. When the promise matures and your heart aligns with it, the delay ends naturally. But if the blessing arrived before you were ready, it would crush you instead of crown you. In this season, heaven is teaching you to live in rhythm with divine timing. You are being trained to breathe between promises, to remain faithful when nothing seems to move, to keep believing when nothing seems to change. Every "not yet" from God is mercy disguised as mystery. There are things being arranged that your eyes cannot see, people being positioned, circumstances being rewritten, doors being crafted that will open only when your steps are steady enough to walk through them without hesitation. The pause you are living in is holy. It's where God perfects what He plans to reveal. Many grow restless in this stage and try to force outcomes that only time can produce. But what you build with impatience will collapse under pressure. What you wait for in faith will last. The waiting is where roots grow deep, where motives are purified, and where destiny is clarified. Remember the seed, it does not sprout the day it's buried. The soil looks silent, but under the surface, everything is alive. That's what your life looks like right now. Unseen movement, quiet construction, invisible progress. Heaven is working beneath what you can see, and your only task is to trust that the process is sacred. The test of delay exposes what your heart truly believes. When prayers go unanswered, will you still worship when doors remain shut? Will you still praise? Waiting reveals whether you seek God for His hand or for His heart. In the silence, He's not withholding love, He's deepening it. He's teaching you that His presence is not defined by activity but by assurance. Even when nothing changes externally, something is transforming internally. Your endurance is becoming faith refined in fire. And when the time finally comes, you won't have to strive. The blessing will not need to be chased, it will find you. God's timing is never late, it's layered. Every delay has been working for your good, weaving purpose into the places you thought were forgotten. One day, you will look back and realize that the waiting wasn't wasted. It was the very thing that made you capable of carrying the answer. You'll see how every "not yet" was really a gentle hold on "there's more I'm building in you" first. When your heart aches for movement, remember this truth: stillness is not stagnation, it is spiritual strength in disguise. The greatest miracles often happen quietly, long before the manifestation arrives. So don't rush your process. Don't resent your delay. What feels like pause is actually precision. God has not forgotten what He promised. He's just perfecting you for the promise. The longer you wait, the more complete the restoration will be. Rest in that. Let your spirit breathe. Let your hope stretch deeper than time itself. For in the kingdom of God, waiting is not wasted, it's worship. And when the silence finally breaks, it will sound like every prayer you ever whispered being answered all at once. When you finally see the promise unfold, you'll understand that every quiet day was necessary. The waiting did not weaken you, it refined your faith into something unshakable, something that can hold the weight of answered prayer. The silence you once feared will become your sanctuary. You'll treasure the stillness that once scared you, because that's where you learned God's voice best, soft, steady, and always enough to guide your next step. And in time, you'll teach others how to wait. You'll remind them that heaven's timing is never cruel, only careful. You'll say, "I once waited too, and now I see why delay was grace wearing patience." When the enemy cannot stop your destiny, he tries to make you doubt it. His voice comes not through thunder, but through accusations, subtle reminders of your failures, quiet distortions of your past. He doesn't need to destroy your purpose, he only needs to convince you that you've disqualified yourself from it. That is the nature of spiritual warfare in its most deceptive form. It doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers. It tells you you've gone too far, failed too deeply, waited too long. But these are lies crafted to weaken your confidence in God's mercy. Every accusation from darkness is simply proof that heaven still has a plan for your life. According to the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 10, "For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been cast down." That verse is your reminder the accuser has already been defeated. The voice that tells you you're not enough speaks from a throne that no longer exists. Its only power is the one you grant it by believing its echo. But when you remember what Christ already accomplished, accusation loses its grip. Every time you replay your past mistakes, you reopen wounds that God already healed. Heaven does not hold your failures against you. It uses them to shape compassion within you. The scars you carry are not records of shame, they are evidence of survival. Proof that grace was stronger than guilt. You must stop letting the echoes of yesterday interrupt the songs of tomorrow. You are not the same person who made those mistakes. Growth has changed your spirit, and repentance has rewritten your story. Every time you turn back to God, He turned that moment into a chapter of redemption. The enemy knows that if you ever believed how forgiven you truly are, his influence would collapse. That's why he fights hardest in your mind, because he fears what will happen when your thoughts finally align with truth. He cannot stand before a believer who knows they're covered by grace. Do not confuse conviction with condemnation. Conviction is heaven's hand pulling you closer. Condemnation is hell's chain keeping you still. The first whispers, "Rise again." The second sneers, "Stay down." One restores, the other robs. You must choose which voice to obey. God never speaks through hopelessness. His correction always carries peace. If a thought pushes you into despair, it did not come from Him. The Spirit exposes sin to free you, not to shame you. When heaven corrects, it also heals. So silence the accuser by speaking truth aloud. Say to yourself, "I am forgiven. I am chosen. I am restored." These declarations are not denial, they are warfare. Every word of truth you speak becomes a sword that drives darkness back. You have been forgiven completely, not partially. Mercy did not pause at your worst moment, it met you there. Grace is not a theory, it's the constant breath that carried you when guilt told you to stop trying. Even now, God is rewriting the labels others placed on you. The names they called you will become the testimonies that set others free. Where they saw failure, He saw foundation. Where they saw the end, He began again. And when the accuser tries again, because he will remember that truth is stronger than memory, speak what heaven says, not what guilt suggests. You have been redeemed by a love that keeps no record of wrongs. If your spirit recognizes this battle, if you felt that unseen weight of accusation trying to return, respond now in faith. Type below, I am free. Write it not as defiance, but as declaration. Every time you affirm freedom, chains fall within and around you. This simple confession becomes your victory cry. Echoing what heaven already declared, your guilt has been silenced, and your future has been restored. When you type, I am free, you are not just writing a phrase, you are stepping into a spiritual truth that hell has tried to hide from you. Those 3 words are a doorway, a declaration, and a breaking of chains all at once. Each time you say, I am free, you remind your spirit that the debt has already been paid. That guilt no longer owns you. You tell heaven that you agree with what the cross accomplished, and you tell darkness that you refuse to live as a prisoner of memories God has already erased. Freedom is not the absence of your past, it's the authority to walk through it without shame. When you declare, I am free, heaven hears the sound of a warrior awakening, a chosen one remembering that mercy is stronger than mistake. So let those words rise from your heart with conviction. Say them until your atmosphere changes. Say them until your thoughts align with truth. For when you boldly speak, I am free, the chains that once defined you melt under the sound of your restored identity, and the accuser is silenced once more. There comes a time when the fire inside you returns not as chaos, but as calm strength. The same spirit that once trembled under pressure now stands unshaken. You've walked through darkness, faced your doubts, and discovered that what survived inside you is something unbreakable. That quiet fire you feel, it's your divine authority coming back to life. You once prayed for strength, now you carry it. You once begged for a sign, now you are one. This is the moment heaven's flame reignites in you, not the old passion that burned out, but a purified fire that moves with purpose and peace. The light is returning, but this time, it's steady. As the prophet wrote in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 38, Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. That same divine fire that descended in Elijah's day is stirring in you now, not to destroy, but to refine, to consume everything that has held you back from shining fully. You are not waiting for revival, you are the revival. There is something sacred about this kind of fire. It doesn't roar, it breathes. It doesn't demand attention, it transforms quietly. Like sunrise on stone, every breath you take becomes worship. Every step you make is prayer. Your very presence becomes a reminder that God still restores what once seemed burned beyond repair. The light that's rising within you is not meant to be kept. You are a torch-bearer, and torches are only fulfilled when they ignite others. That's why you're hearing these words now, because what once healed you is now meant to flow through you. And as this flame grows, you'll begin to see others drawn to its warmth. People in their own darkness will find safety in your glow. That's how light spreads quietly, freely, beautifully. If these messages have been part of that warmth in your life, if they've reminded you that your flame still matters, then I want to ask something, but only if your spirit feels it's right. If this word has touched you, like it. It's like striking a match in the night, one small spark that tells the algorithm of heaven, keep spreading this fire. Share it so the flame doesn't stop with you. Somewhere out there, someone is staring at the dark, waiting for proof that light still exists. Your act of sharing becomes that proof. Subscribe if you wish to keep walking with this fire family. Every new connection is like another candle added to this growing circle of light. You belong here where faith meets fire. And no one's story is too burned to begin again. And if your heart ever leads you, consider donating not as obligation, but as pouring oil into the flame. Oil never demands recognition, it simply burns to keep the light alive. Your giving does that. It turns this voice into a steady glow, reaching those who've forgotten what warmth feels like. There is no pressure here, only invitation. Giving is not about transaction, it's about participation. Every seed sown here fuels another message, another rescue, another reminder that heaven still speaks through the ashes. You are not funding words, you are feeding hope. Like a lighthouse standing in the storm, this space exists so no traveler feels alone in the dark. Every like, every share, every gift of support, each becomes another beam of light, stretching further into unseen corners of the world. I've seen this happen countless times, a person scrolling at midnight, numb, hopeless, and a single video finds them, breathing life back into dry bones. That's what your light sustains. Not numbers, but souls. And whether your way of giving is a prayer, a comment, a gift, or simply staying, know this: every gesture is holy when done with love. Heaven counts what humans overlook. We are not building a brand, we are tending a fire, a living flame that will outlast us, reaching generations who will never know our names but will feel our warmth. So, as you finish this message, close your eyes for a moment. Feel that quiet heat in your chest. That's God saying, I'm still here. I'm still burning in you. Your support, your light, keeps this flame alive. Together, we ensure that the next weary heart who stumbles through the dark will find this same warmth waiting for them. This is not my fire, it's ours. And as long as we keep breathing together, it will never go out. Every ember you tend becomes part of heaven's tapestry of light. Even the smallest act, one share, one prayer, one offering joins the eternal rhythm of grace, whispering hope into places where despair once ruled. And as this flame travels beyond us, it carries fingerprints of every heart that believed. Together, we've built not a platform, but a beacon, and that beacon will keep shining long after the darkness forgets its name. Obedience is the quiet strength that separates those who dream from those who walk in destiny. Many begin with passion, but few continue with discipline. Emotion ignites, but obedience sustains. When the initial excitement fades and all that remains is a whisper saying, keep going, That's when true readiness is proven. You have learned that faith is not proven in the noise of worship, but in the silence of choices. Every yes whispered when no one is watching. Every no spoken when temptation calls, that is obedience. It is the daily offering that fuels heaven's fire. There was a time when you thought obedience meant loss. You feared it would cost too much, require too many sacrifices. But now you understand it was never about restriction, it was about refinement. God was not trying to take from you, He was teaching you how to steward more. The Word of God reminds us in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22, "To obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen than the fat of rams." Obedience is not the end of freedom, it is the doorway into true authority. Each act of surrender aligns your steps with divine order. Every time you trust, even when you don't understand, heaven writes progress into your story. God's instructions often seem small, but each one carries eternity within it. A simple act of obedience can shift generations. It doesn't always feel dramatic. It might be as quiet as forgiving someone who never apologized, walking away from a conversation that stirs the wrong spirit, or choosing to pray when exhaustion says, "Sleep." But these moments are where destiny is shaped. Obedience is a language heaven recognizes. It speaks louder than sermons, louder than songs. It tells God, "You can trust me with more." And the moment you prove faithful in little, He expands your borders without you even asking. The challenge is that obedience often feels lonely. People may not understand why you pulled back, why you chose silence over reaction, why you stopped chasing what once seemed urgent. But the truth is, obedience will always set you apart before it sets you above. The process hurts because it isolates. But isolation is never rejection, it's refinement. God hides those He's about to reveal. He keeps His most trusted vessels in secret places until their hearts are strong enough to hold public glory without collapsing under pride. The reward of obedience is not always visible immediately. Sometimes it's peace. Sometimes it's protection you didn't see coming. Sometimes it's an unseen door that opens months later because you made the right choice today. Heaven's timing is exact. Obedience is the currency that keeps you aligned with it. To obey means to listen deeply. And to listen deeply, you must quiet the world. That's why God often draws you into stillness before speaking again. He silences distractions so His direction can sound like thunder in your spirit. There are seasons when obedience feels like loss, but those who stay faithful long enough discover it was the path to restoration all along. Every surrendered plan was making room for a better one. Every delayed yes became preparation for something eternal. Sometimes you'll have to walk away from what is good to make space for what is divine. That is the test of mature obedience, choosing alignment over attachment, purpose over comfort. And when you finally take that step, heaven moves instantly to meet you halfway. You are being shaped into someone who moves not by impulse, but by instruction. The days of striving are over. Now comes the era of steady steps. Your obedience is not loud, but it echoes through eternity. And though obedience may cost you your comfort, it will always return your crown. You are not losing freedom, you are finding purpose. You are not giving up power, you are being trusted with it. So keep walking, even when the path narrows. Keep listening, even when the voice grows faint. Each act of obedience, no matter how small, is a seed planted in eternity's soil. And one day soon, when you look back, you'll see that every surrender built a bridge straight into destiny. The world measures success by results, but heaven measures it by obedience. You are not called to understand every command, only to trust the one who gives them. In the end, that trust becomes your inheritance, and obedience your legacy. Obedience will not always be celebrated by people, but it will always be noticed by heaven. Every unseen act of surrender becomes divine fragrance, rising silently before God as worship more powerful than words. The steps you take in faith are never wasted. Even detours become direction when your heart stays aligned. God turns each yes into momentum, weaving obedience into the rhythm of miracles that unfold in perfect time. And one day, when you stand where promise meets fulfillment, you'll realize obedience was never a burden, it was your wings. The very choices that cost you comfort became the wind that carried you into divine destiny. There is a sacred shift happening around you. Things you prayed for are beginning to align. But not because you forced them, because heaven has decided the time is now. The silence is breaking. The atmosphere around your life is starting to hum with divine movement. You can feel it in your spirit before you see it with your eyes. Everything that once seemed delayed is suddenly finding its place. The doors that were locked are beginning to turn. But listen carefully. Alignment is not random, it is response. It happens when heaven and your heart finally move at the same rhythm. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." That is the blueprint of alignment. You do not chase the blessing, you chase the source. When your focus is God, everything meant for you begins to locate you. The things that once slipped through your hands return, not because you run faster, but because you finally stand still in the right place. Heaven is repositioning you now. What once felt like chaos is forming into divine choreography. Every step, every detour, every tear has become part of a pattern. God never wastes movement. Even the moments that broke you have been rearranged into a design that will soon make perfect sense. You are standing at the threshold where obedience and timing meet. One wrong step before this moment would have cost you the promise. But now everything aligns. The spirit that once whispered wait is now saying walk. The weight that once pressed you down has become the wind that will lift you higher. This alignment is not gentle, it is exact. It is heaven's clock striking your appointed hour. Everything that belongs to your destiny is moving toward you right now, people. Opportunities, provisions, and favor. You don't have to chase what's already on its way. You only have to remain steady where God placed you. When alignment happens, peace follows. It's not a peace that comes from understanding, it's the peace that tells you you're finally where you're supposed to be. The chaos ends not because life gets easier, but because your heart has found its center. This is what divine timing feels like. It's the quiet certainty that everything will unfold as it should. The delays, the confusion, the closed doors, they were never rejection, only redirection. You had to learn discernment before acceleration, stillness before movement. Heaven has been building the stage while you've been learning your lines. Now, the curtain begins to rise. The light shifts. The right people appear at the right time. The script you thought was forgotten starts to make sense again. Nothing was lost. It was simply waiting for synchronization. You don't have to strive anymore. You don't have to prove you're ready. You already are. Every hidden season has prepared you for this open one. You're not behind, you're exactly on time. What's about to unfold will not be random, it will be recognizable as the fulfillment of every whispered prayer. If your heart has been sensing that shift, if you feel the alignment even before it manifests, acknowledge it now. This is your sign that heaven's timing has found you. Type below 999. That number is a prophetic sign of completion and divine alignment. When you comment it, you're not predicting the future, you're agreeing with it. You're declaring that what God started in you is reaching fulfillment. 999 means the circle closes. The promise stands, and the waiting ends. So, as you write it, let your spirit rest. This is not striving anymore, it's arrival. Heaven is whispering, you're in position now. And soon, everything you've carried in faith will appear before your eyes. Right on time, in perfect order, and overflowing with grace. When you type 999, you are not just responding, you are resonating. Those 3 digits are not numbers, they are a spiritual echo of completion. They mark the moment heaven's design and your obedience finally meet in perfect timing. Each time you write 999, you affirm that your waiting has not been wasted. You're declaring that what once seemed unfinished has reached divine fulfillment. The promise isn't approaching, it has arrived. Heaven has signed its name across your timeline, confirming that every delay was building toward this precise alignment. 999 is your symbol of closure and creation all at once. It means one chapter has fully served its purpose and a new one is opening under grace. You are no longer standing between seasons, you are stepping into divine synchronization, where everything starts to make sense. So, write it with faith. Write it with joy. When you declare 999, you are saying, I trust heaven's clock. You're choosing to celebrate the rhythm of divine timing, the place where endings and beginnings merge. And the will of God unfolds flawlessly through your surrendered life. Every crown carries weight. Every mantle, no matter how glorious, presses upon the shoulders it rests on. When God restores you, He doesn't just give you joy, He gives you responsibility. With every blessing comes stewardship. With every elevation comes accountability. You prayed for more, and heaven said yes. But that yes carries a sacred weight. It's not meant to crush you, it's meant to anchor you. Restoration without responsibility would collapse under its own glory. That's why God took His time preparing you. He was strengthening your character to match your calling. You are now stepping into the season of bearing what you once begged for. The mantle is not just a symbol of victory, it is a garment woven from every lesson, every loss, every tear you've ever shed. It's not light because it's holy. The greater the anointing, the deeper the humility required to carry it. The apostle reminds us in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48, to whom much is given, of him much shall be required. This is the law of divine weight, the truth that blessing without balance can become a burden. God never releases increase without first forming integrity. He cannot pour fresh oil into cracked vessels. That is why the refining came before the revealing. The weight of the mantle is not punishment, it is proof that heaven trusts you. You are not being overwhelmed, you are being entrusted. God has placed influence, wisdom, and authority upon you, not so you can be exalted, but so you can serve. True greatness is never measured by how high you rise, but by how deeply you bow. Carrying this mantle means understanding that leadership in the kingdom looks nothing like leadership in the world. The world celebrates those who dominate. Heaven honors those who lay their lives down. Power in the kingdom flows downward. It moves through the hands that wash feet, not through the crowns that demand applause. The weight of this calling will sometimes make you feel unseen again. You will pour out into others and feel empty. You will speak life and sometimes wonder who will speak it back to you. But remember, mantles are sustained not by applause, but by prayer. Your strength now must come from the same secret place where God first called your name. There will be moments when you feel the heaviness of the assignment. Don't mistake that weight for failure. Every anointed one learns to walk under divine gravity, the awareness that what you carry is eternal. The mantle presses not to crush, but to keep you grounded, to remind you that glory is not yours to own, only to steward. In time, you'll begin to see how that weight actually shapes your posture. It keeps you from running ahead of God. It bends you toward humility, toward prayer, toward dependence. You will begin to recognize that the more He gives, the more you must return. Responsibility in the kingdom is not about perfection, it's about presence. God doesn't ask for flawless leaders, He asks for faithful ones. Your willingness to remain teachable, humble, and obedient under pressure will preserve the very anointing He's placed upon you. The mantle will call you to deeper prayer, to quieter sacrifices, to decisions that few will understand. You will often carry more than others see, but that's because heaven has measured your shoulders and found them ready. When the mantle feels too heavy, remember that even Jesus stumbled under the weight of His cross. Yet His stumble was not weakness, it was humanity carrying divinity through obedience. You, too, are carrying something divine inside fragile flesh. That's what makes your surrender so powerful. Every time you choose obedience over comfort, the mantle settles more securely upon you. Every time you serve when you could shine, heaven smiles. Every time you say, "Not my will, but yours," the glory increases quietly. Do not fear the weight. It is shaping you into someone whose authority comes not from title, but from truth. The oil that flows through your life will touch others not because of your words, but because of your willingness to carry what others dropped. This is the hidden beauty of the mantle. It doesn't make you larger, it makes you deeper. And in that depth, you find the heart of God beating in rhythm with your own. You realize the mantle is not just upon you, it's within you, changing how you see, how you speak, how you love. So walk with reverence. Carry the weight with gratitude. Every step you take under this calling leaves an imprint that eternity will remember. The world may never know your name, but heaven already knows your measure, and it called you worthy to bear the weight of glory. And when the journey feels heavy again, lift your eyes. The same God who placed the mantle upon you also walks beside you. His strength will always outlast your fatigue, and His grace will always carry you home. The deeper you walk with God, the more aware you become of the battle surrounding your peace. Restoration was never meant to be effortless. Every time you reclaim ground, the enemy tries to whisper fear, doubt, or distraction. He cannot remove what God gave you, so he tries to make you abandon it by choice. You are living proof that light and darkness do not coexist quietly. The moment your spirit begins to shine again, Opposition rises not because you are weak, but because you are becoming visible to both realms. Darkness sees your light as a threat, because it remembers when it once held you captive. Yet every trial you face now has changed in purpose. The attacks that once broke you are now building you. The same winds that tried to scatter you are pushing you forward. What once felt like punishment is now preparation for victory. You are no longer fighting to survive, you are fighting to remain aligned. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. This is not an invitation to stand powerless, it is a command to stand peaceful. Stillness in battle is not weakness, it's confidence that the outcome has already been decided. You are not fighting for victory anymore, you are fighting from victory. Every moment you choose peace over panic, faith over fear, forgiveness over fury. You declare who your commander truly is. The battlefield has moved, it is no longer around you, but within you. And the weapon that wins now is trust. You've seen enough of God's faithfulness to know that nothing can truly destroy you. The fire that once terrified you has become the very light guiding your steps. The storms you feared are now evidence of how deeply you've been anchored. You have endured enough breaking to know that you will never bend the same way again. Spiritual warfare no longer looks like chaos. It looks like calm. It looks like you resting while the enemy rages. Like you choosing silence when accusation demands a reaction. You have learned the language of victory. It sounds like stillness, prayer, and unshakable assurance. There will always be moments when the noise returns, when old memories or voices from the past attempt to pull you back into fear. But now, you know how to answer them, not with argument, but with truth. You remind darkness of its defeat. You speak what heaven says until the atmosphere bends. The enemy's greatest frustration is that what used to work no longer does. His lies bounce off your discernment like arrows hitting armor. You have become unrecognizable to hell because you finally believe what heaven has been saying about you all along, that you are chosen, equipped, and unstoppable. This is what maturity in the Spirit looks like. Not perfection, but perseverance. Not immunity to pain, but intimacy with peace. You have learned that warfare is not about noise, it's about knowing who stands beside you when the noise comes. Even now, heaven surrounds you. Angels move quietly, guarding the path beneath your feet. You are not walking into danger, you are walking through destiny. The pressure you feel is not resistance, it's confirmation that you are on the right path. When fear whispers again, remember that stillness is your shield. The world calls it weakness, but heaven calls it worship. It is in stillness that you hear the voice of strategy, the whisper that tells you when to move, when to wait, and when to rest. Sometimes victory will not look like celebration, it will look like survival. Other times, it will feel like peace after a storm, no applause, just breath. And that breath, that calm after the chaos, is where you find the fingerprints of God's protection. You were not chosen because you were fearless. You were chosen because you were faithful. Every battle you have fought has been a rehearsal for the authority you now carry. You have earned your quiet confidence through fire and tears. So, when the next wave comes, and it will stand tall, remember the one who split seas before and still fights beside you now. Let your calm confuse the enemy. Let your silence roar with faith. And let your endurance testify that God still wins through those who refuse to quit. You are no longer the one being chased, you are the one carrying the standard of light. Wherever you walk, darkness loses ground. The battles you face now are not about survival, but about stewardship, holding the territory grace has given you. This is the final stage before breakthrough, the battle that confirms the blessing. And when the dust settles, you will find yourself standing stronger, clearer, and unshaken. Because the war you feared was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to reveal who you've become. You have walked through the storm and come out glowing. The fire that once threatened to consume you has now become your warmth. You are the evidence that survival can turn into song, that ashes can breathe beauty again. Heaven has not only restored you, it has made you radiant. This is the rise of the restored. You no longer move from pain, you move from purpose. Every wound you carried has become a window where light escapes. You are not simply living, you are leading others out of the same darkness that once held you captive. But this new light is not for display, it's for direction. God didn't relight your fire so you could stand still. He relit it so others could find their way home through your glow. And sometimes, the most sacred thing you can do with your light is to share it. As written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven." That verse is not a command, it's a calling. The light inside you is divine evidence. It was never meant to be hidden beneath fear or fatigue. When you shine, you testify. When you speak, you heal. When you stand, you remind others that grace still chooses broken vessels to carry eternal fire. So now, as this flame burns steadily within you, let me speak softly to the part of you that still wonders if your glow matters. It does. Every spark you release can ignite another life. Every word of hope, every act of faith, every gesture of love, each is fuel for someone else's survival. If this message has spoken to that hidden part of you, if it has rekindled even a small ember, then I ask something, but only from the place of freedom. No obligation, no demand, just an open invitation to let your flame join ours. If this word touched you, light a small lantern like this message. Think of it not as a click, but as a candle lit in the dark. Every light added here joins a chain of flames, reaching hearts you may never meet. If you feel moved, release your spark. Share this message. Somewhere, someone is standing where you once stood, convinced their fire has gone out. Your act of sharing becomes the wind that finds their wick again. If your heart wants to leave a trace, write a comment below. Write as if you are carving light into the walls of the night. Your words may become the signpost another weary traveler needs to find their way home. If you wish to stay near this warmth, subscribe, not as a follower, but as a keeper of light. Each subscription becomes another steady flame in a growing constellation of faith and renewal. And if your spirit whispers that it's time to give back, consider pouring a drop of oil into the flame. Donate. Not because you owe, but because love overflows. Oil doesn't boast, it simply burns, feeding the light so it can reach farther, brighter, deeper into unseen places where hope still trembles. When you give, you're not funding words, you're fueling rescue. You're keeping this lighthouse burning for those who still wander on stormy seas. Every act of generosity, whether a prayer, a kind comment, or a gift, becomes part of the glow that refuses to die. This community isn't about performance or perfection, it's about presence, Every like is a spark, every share a signal, every comment a bridge, every offering a ripple of hope that refuses to fade. Together, we are proving that hope is not a concept, it's a current, passed gently from heart to heart. Your light may feel small, but when joined with others, it becomes unignorable. That is how darkness loses by being outnumbered, outloved, and outshined. And you, dear torchbearer, are part of that radiant rebellion. So take a breath. Look at how far you've come. You once crawled through the ashes, now you're standing. Steady, luminous. The world around you needs that. Fire your story, your light, your courage. And as we keep tending this shared flame together, remember every act of kindness, every whispered prayer, every moment you choose light over bitterness is its own donation, a gift to the world that says, the darkness does not win here. Let your life keep burning like that freely, beautifully, endlessly, because when we shine together, even the night begins to remember what dawn feels like. Every ember you release keeps this story alive. Somewhere, someone you'll never meet will breathe easier because your flame reached them. That's how heaven writes its miracles, through small lights passed quietly from heart to heart. And when the night feels endless again, remember this: the flame you nurture now will one day guide another home. This is how light survives, not by force, but by faithful sharing of warmth without demand. Every story of restoration ends the same way, not with the absence of scars, but with the transformation of them. The marks you carry are not signs of weakness, they are proof that grace left fingerprints on your pain. Each scar holds a story only heaven can fully interpret. You've learned by now that healing does not erase the memory of suffering, it redeems it. God never wastes a wound. Every hurt that once hollowed you has become a vessel for compassion. You now carry tenderness where bitterness used to live, wisdom where confusion once shouted, and peace where fear once reigned. This is the sacred paradox of the chosen ones. Your scars and your crown coexist. They do not contradict each other, they complete each other. One reminds you of where you've been, the other reminds you of who carried you through. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 147, verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. That verse isn't a promise of avoidance, it's a declaration of redemption. God does not skip over pain, He walks through it with you. He does not deny the breaking, He transforms it into beauty. Every tear that fell in private became a seed that bloomed in purpose. The crown you now wear isn't made of gold, it's woven from resilience, forgiveness, and faith. It was shaped through sleepless nights, built by surrendered prayers, and polished by endurance. Heaven saw every moment you kept going when no one applauded. Every time you chose hope when despair looked easier. That is what crowns are made of, not perfection, but perseverance. There is something breathtaking about someone who has walked through fire and still chooses to love. You are that kind of soul now, the kind who can stand in both the memory of pain and the miracle of survival without bitterness. That balance is sacred. It's what makes your light pure. You are no longer asking, "Why did this happen to me?" Instead, you've begun to whisper, "What will you do through me?" That shift marks maturity. It's the moment when pain stops being a prison and becomes a platform. Your scars are your credentials. They are the silent sermon your life preaches before your mouth ever opens. They tell the world that grace works, that mercy heals, that resurrection is not a theory, it's a rhythm pulsing through every restored heart. When others see your crown, they'll admire your strength, but when they see your scars, they'll trust your authenticity, and that trust is what will draw them toward their own healing. People are not healed by perfection, they are healed by honesty wrapped in hope. There will be days when the weight of the crown feels heavy again. The responsibility of purpose may press against your wounds, and the past may whisper that you're not ready. But remember this, the same hands that placed the crown upon your head also held the nails that purchased your freedom. You are covered, even when you tremble. When you look at your reflection now, don't hide the cracks. The light shines brightest through them. The brokenness that once embarrassed you is now the place where God's glory escapes into the world. You were never meant to be flawless. You were meant to be transparent. And perhaps that's the most extraordinary thing about this journey. God never asked you to return untouched. He only asked you to return transformed. He wanted you to come back carrying proof that love truly conquers loss, that light truly outlasts darkness, that surrender truly builds strength. You are both the evidence and the expression of restoration. The crown and the scars are not separate. They are married by grace. Together, they tell a story that angels envy that humanity can fall, be broken, be buried in grief, and still rise carrying glory. Hold your head high, not in pride, but in remembrance. You wear both pain and promise on the same brow. You are living testimony that God restores fully, not halfway, not conditionally, but completely. So, when you walk forward from here, do so gently, knowing that every scar glows with divine purpose and every crown gleams with mercy's reflection. You are proof that heaven does not abandon what it refines. You have become the intersection of brokenness and beauty, of grace and glory. The scars tell of where you've been, and the crown tells of who you are now and together. They tell the story of a God who never leaves anything unfinished. Every scar still glows faintly, a reminder that what once hurt you now humbles you. You are no longer defined by pain, but refined by it, carrying both the wound and the wonder in the same heartbeat. And when others see your light, they will not see perfection, they will see redemption. They will see a story that bleeds hope, a life that whispers, "Grace finished what pain began." That is your true crown. The air feels different now. The weight that once pressed against your chest has lifted, replaced by a quiet strength you did not earn but inherited through endurance. This is what readiness feels like, not a shout, not a storm, but a steady breath that says, "I'm still here, and I'm not afraid anymore." You have walked the long path from pain to purpose, from breaking to building. The journey has reshaped you in ways words cannot describe. You began as someone searching for healing. Now you stand as someone carrying it. The wilderness that once felt endless has become sacred ground, because that is where you met the presence that never left you. You are not the same person who began this battle. Your vision is clearer, your spirit quieter, your faith stronger. You no longer seek signs, you carry them. The miracles you once begged for have taken root in your character. You have become the evidence of divine faithfulness written in human form. The ancient words recorded in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, say, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Those words now belong to you. The fight was not easy, but it was necessary. Every wound, every waiting season, every tear was part of the preparation for this moment. You didn't just survive, you matured. You learned to wield peace like a sword and faith like a flame. You've proven that losing a battle never means losing the war when God is your commander. You have reached the place where your story becomes strength for others. You no longer run from the storm, you stand within it. A lighthouse built from lessons and lit by love. You no longer question your worth, you understand it was sealed long before your first failure. Restoration has given way to readiness. God has not only healed you, He has entrusted you with influence, with testimony, with light. Your scars are no longer raw, they shine like armor. Your heart is no longer fragile, it beats with rhythm and resilience. This is the new season, where revelation becomes responsibility. You are not waiting for permission anymore, you have already been released. Heaven does not rebuild someone this carefully, only to hide them again. You are meant to stand, to speak, to move forward with grace. Still, remember this readiness is not perfection. It is awareness. It is knowing that you will stumble again, but you will rise faster. It is walking with wisdom, not fear, with humility, not hesitation. The truly prepared soul does not demand applause, it simply moves in obedience. One faithful step at a time. You are now part of a greater rhythm, the movement of light across generations. Everything you've endured is now fuel for the mission before you. Every scar whispers wisdom. Every memory carries instruction. What once drained you now drives you. You are ready. Not because you know everything, but because you trust the one who does. You are ready, not because you feel strong, but because you have learned where to draw your strength from. You are ready, because grace has made you unstoppable. This readiness is not about action alone, it's about posture. A heart at peace can move mountains more effectively than hands that panic. You will lead not through noise, but through presence. You will speak not to impress, but to awaken. Every word you carry will be seasoned with mercy, born from experience, and anchored in truth. The world around you is waiting for that version of you, the one forged in silence, refined by fire, and anointed in surrender. Do not hide her anymore. Let your presence be your testimony. Let your peace be your proof. When the next challenge arises, you will not flinch. You will remember that the same God who restored you will sustain you. Every ending you feared has become the soil of a new beginning. Every failure you mourned has become the foundation of wisdom. You stand now as both student and soldier, gentle yet strong, scarred yet shining. You are the living answer to prayers you once didn't have the strength to speak. And as you take your next step, heaven watches not with concern, but with pride, because this is what readiness looks like: calm eyes, steady heart, open hands, no longer striving to prove, but choosing to trust. No longer running from calling, but walking straight into it. You are ready not to escape the battle, but to embody victory. This chapter closes, but your story continues. The pages ahead are blank only because they are waiting for your obedience to write them. Go forward in peace, crowned by purpose, guided by presence. You are the proof that restoration leads not to comfort, but to calling, and you are ready. And as you walk into what's next, remember, readiness is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of God's greater one. Every step forward is prophecy fulfilled. Every breath, a reminder you were always meant to rise. And now the journey returns to stillness. The words have been spoken. The fire has been passed. And you stand in the quiet after the storm whole. Steady. Alive. What began as a whisper in your pain has become a roar of purpose in your spirit. You have walked the long road from breaking to becoming, and now you are light. But light, by its very nature, is meant to be shared. If these words have stirred something in you, if they have rekindled a spark, a breath of faith, or a whisper of hope, then let that light flow outward. If this story touched your spirit, let it breathe like this message. Think of it as a lantern you leave burning for the next traveler to find their way home. If it moved you, share it. Somewhere, someone is standing where you once stood, searching for proof that dawn still exists. Your act of sharing becomes the sunrise in their night. If your heart wishes to leave a trace, comment below. Write not for recognition, but for connection. Your words may be the echo that reminds another soul. You are not alone if you wish to remain near this warmth. Subscribe, not to follow, but to continue walking together as keepers of light. Every new heart that joins keeps the circle unbroken, the flame alive. And if your spirit leads you, pour a little oil into the flame, donate, not as duty, but as devotion. Every offering, no matter how small, becomes fuel for messages like this to reach another lost heart in the dark. We are not a crowd, we are a constellation. Every act of kindness, every gesture of support, every spark of generosity becomes a star lighting the way for someone else. Together, we prove that love is stronger than loss, and hope is never too late to arrive. So let the light continue. Share it, guard it, give it, and when you do, heaven will smile because the flame did not stop with you.